gazebo and trolley for a get-together with his classmates.
And there was some discussion about the trolley,
Yeah, we need
and
to.
whether or not we can allow that.
Right.
I think he's more concerned with the use of Barker Common than he was with the trolley, and he understood that there would be an issue with the trolley, so if we want to leave the trolley off for now, we can. And then we can deal with that issue. Because we were talking about trying to do something to allow people to use the trolley. Right?
We have to use it. I
We
mean,
don't,
that's
yeah,
why
we don't have a
it.
mechanism in place, but by next year, hopefully, we have something in place.
Phyllis, you mentioned, is it something about the insurance that you want to
Yeah, it's a type of license that you need to drive it to, so, but we have
We have
people that
some,
volunteer
we
to
have
do that.
drivers.
Oh, so you might be able to.
That are driver, yeah, exactly. So, depending on whether we can get one of the volunteers to come in for that event and that type of stuff, so.
People then will have to make sure that they know to keep us, make sure that we request.
That we,
Yes,
that we review it.
Review
Yeah.
this, so that, because that's quite a ways from
Yeah,
now.
yeah. In the letter, when we write to him and tell him that he got used to Barker Common, we'll say that the trolley is still in question. Something to that nature.
Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Hiring of Robert Cass as part-time water treatment plant operator. Apparently, we are one down, and we need somebody at least for now. We are rehiring our worker.
Yeah, he would, does everybody know Bob was the guy, he just retired from the water plant, so he's a licensed operator. He was our go-to guy at the plant when he was there, so. Okay.
Right, and then we have the gas pump purchase approval. We discussed it last time a little bit. So,
Everybody okay with that?
is that coming? I just don't notice. Oh, he's not.
I'm sorry.
That is not
Oh,
coming?
no, he's
Oh,
not.
okay, I'm
No,
sorry, I
he's
didn't
not.
realize that, okay. And then we have the village attorney appointment, and Mr. Card. Well, we have to welcome you at the regular meeting, at the official meeting. Thank you for sitting with us today. And then we have the justice report for October 2017. And then we have to talk about the water. Pretty much everybody knows by now what went on last week. To give everybody a background, about a month and a half ago after I took office, which is about 2 years now, they brought to me a petition about some water that was not clean. At least it didn't look clean, let me put it this way. The petition was drawn in 2008. And on that petition, the problem, they said it was about 3 to 5 years old. So by the time I took office, it was about 11 to 12 years old, at least. I found out that the village tried to fix the problem by either trying to fix the chemistry of the water, because obviously after they tested it, it was nothing. There were no pathogens, there were no anything that was harmful really, but still the water looked like this. And of course, nobody would drink it or do anything else like this. This came to me today from the same place as they took the sample at the time, as they took the petition at the time. This is from Carroll Avenue. Now, since then, we are taking some measures, but mainly we try to find out what was the reason. Because obviously to fix a problem, you have to find the reason. We paid for a study. The study we just got back this September, and we're trying to find out how to fix it. To make a long story short, we have rusty pipes that are not lined, and that rust goes into the water and gives this color. Now, the recommendation is to change the rusty pipes. That's a very expensive process. So after we got the numbers, this past week really, and the number that I had for all the streets around that area, James Place, Cottage Street, what is that, Middlesex, Carroll Avenue, Forbes, what else is there? Pleasant, yes, I'm sorry, Pleasant. The estimate was about $3.5 million. While for an $11 million budget, almost $11 million budget, this is a lot of money. So what I did is I called the state senator, Senator Young. She was extremely helpful. We had a conference call with the Senate Finance Office and the Senator's Office and Mr. Vince Horgan and the County Health Department. They suggested that first of all, we don't think about lining the pipes, but rather change the pipes. Lining is quite expensive, not as expensive as changing, obviously, but it's expensive and it doesn't last. They said if we're lucky, it's going to last about 10 years. So that's not a good option. They try to steer me away from that, and it wasn't difficult because their argument made perfect sense. So they asked me to come up with a more immediate need number, which we did, and the most immediate need, that as we have it right now, and it's not the final number, is about $800,000. These are the options we have. We can wait until next year to apply for a grant, and then this grant, if we are lucky and if we are successful, we can start implementing that. We can bond the money, go out, bond the money at the market, $800,000, and start the process. The last way, the way that they, at the state level, and actually today we had another conference call with the state health department, they recommended that we issue a state of emergency as only for that water, stating that the water is not unsafe, it's just there's a quality problem, but it's not a safety problem. That is going to give us the opportunity to apply for emergency funds, and if we are successful, we can get them very quickly, which means very quickly, so to everybody understands, very quickly means we apply, we get the money approved in a matter of a week to 10 days, and then we get into the finding, putting the plans together, put out for bids, and then start construction. This is going to take about 5 months. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Yes. So if everything goes, if the board is okay with us declaring a state of emergency, which is a step with the state has to, I have to inform the state, then we can apply through our engineers, Brian and Gear, who are, they were part of this, of the conference call today. We can apply for this money, and then the only thing I have to make very clear, this is not grant, this is a loan. It's a loan money, 0% financing for a year, payable in 1 year, which means next year, this time, we have to pay back. We have some options. We're going to apply for a grant. We're going to try to roll this money into the grant. These are options that we have to consider. But my main thing is that at this moment we have to decide if we're going after this emergency funding or not.
I think we have to.
I mean, to me, it's...
Yes.
Are the chances pretty good? I mean, even though we don't have a safety problem?
Well, obviously, he said today
not
that he
potable.
cannot guarantee
Guarantee
me.
that.
Okay, until they see the application and they evaluate it. But from the history we gave them, he seemed pretty, well, he seemed positive, let's say. And he is the person who actually evaluates these applications.
But this money is only going to be applied to that one section.
Yes, not even the whole section, because $806,000, I think I have a breakdown here, and I made some copies. It's only for 6 streets. I would like to include Carroll Avenue, and because it's not included here, and I don't think it's fair.
My only concern is that there are other sections within the village that also have come to us in the past with some issues. You know,
I
how do
agree.
we justify that to the people in the other section of the town that their issues aren't going to be addressed? That, I mean, I think it's something we need to consider that.
I agree with you totally, and actually, at the grant, when we apply for the grant, we're going to apply for the whole system that needs to be, not the whole system of the village, but the problem areas of the whole system. Because actually, that's what they said from the Senate Finance Office, that we have to make them aware of the fact that we're very serious. We have to address the whole problem. We're not putting just one street here and one street there. We have to address the whole problem. But we have to start from one place. I mean, this is from today. This is today's water. I know what you mean. I have no way of covering everything.
I mean,
Well,
I
we
just,
also have to be careful of, if we don't get the grant next year, we had hoped to roll this into, but we may not get that grant, be able to roll that in. So then we would have to finance or bond that
Well,
amount again.
The state, you were at the call, the state said that
Correct.
they can finance it for us at market value.
At market value, correct.
I mean, in all honesty, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get the grant and roll it into that grant.
They
The thing
seem to
is,
be-
at this moment, we have to start addressing something.
Right. They seem to be pretty positive that that would be an opportunity to add in the distribution into as a new listing onto that grant.
And just
Yes.
so that everybody's clear, this is only in certain areas. This is
Right.
not system-wide.
Right.
Correct.
I mean, the problem,
and I
Yeah,
think
the
the
that
problem
was-
is only
Yeah,
in
it's
this
not
area.
Is
something
only
that's
in-
going on across the
I
whole
know.
system.
I was
There's
gonna say,
specific
presented on-
pockets of,
in the village.
Right, they just
within
have
the
those
village.
old, is it just where they have those
But
old
if
type
you,
of
if
pipes?
you see the map, you can understand that we have these old pipes, and
Right.
that area doesn't have any outlet. It's just dead-end streets, dead-end system where the water stagnates.
Mhm.
So somehow we have to address that too, and the system has to either provide for a loop or provide, as we were talking in the morning, to go to a bigger pipe so the water keeps moving. Now, what you said, I don't know, actually. It's just, the only thing I know is that I'm trying to start from one point, and then we have to start from the budget that we're making next year and start putting streets there. Because if we go one by one, it's going to be much cheaper than going.
I think it's imperative too that if we do this, I think when it goes out, it's emergency. I think that can create some issues. I'm sorry. I mean, and I understand we definitely have a problem, but would be obviously some people that wouldn't really understand it. Maybe myself would too. But I just don't want to see some hysteria start as a result of saying it's an emergency. And I saw the thing on television, and I really felt the impression they gave that is everybody in the village was having brown water, and I don't think that that's the case at all.
It was very clear to them. I talked to them
But,
actually for about 20 minutes, and you saw only 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, but I'm saying, but that's how it got presented out to the public. And it made it sound like the whole village was turning on our taps and getting dirty water, you know, and I don't,
I think that's
The-
what the mayor is trying to say, is that this, there is a, as the health department is stating, that this can be considered an emergency for those areas. So that we can get
understand, Jen,
funding.
I don't deny that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but I think it's how it gets presented so that it doesn't appear that the whole village is in this catastrophic event of brown water.
And I'm
And
not-
some, because some people then are going to be coming and saying, well, what are you going to do about us? And there's, right now, I'm sorry, but there won't be anything we're going to be able to do about you because it sounds like the health department in this has been very specific where that money is going to be able to be allocated. I'm just saying,
And I'm
it's
not
going to be a
sure-
real PR.
And I'm not sure, and maybe
Folks.
the attorney can help us on that. If
Yeah.
the state of emergency that I'm going to have to issue can be only for specific area, or it has to be village-wide.
No, that would be correct. It can only be for a specific area or specific incident.
Okay,
It
can
so
be.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that if we word it right. So first, to actually get the money, give a strong application, but at the same time, as Trustee Jones said, I don't want the village to think that we have a state of emergency in the village. We do not. And it's not about the safety of the water, it's the quality of the water. And for these streets, this is an emergency. So if we are able to word it as specific to the streets, the 6, 7 streets that we have here, I think will be fine. Because in reality, very few houses, as a percentage, have this problem. It's very disturbing, but very few they have it. Now, I want to mention something else that just came to my attention. There are going to be some phone calls going out asking people to buy insurance for bad water. Please do not buy this insurance. You do not need insurance for bad water. So just to make sure that you don't answer these phone calls and you don't
So
fall
it's
into
it's a
that.
scam.
Scam. This is a scam. Definitely, this is definitely a scam. So, I mean, this is where we are.
And this is going to give the opportunity to get started on this right away. If we have to wait in another way to fund this, it could take a lot longer. I mean, it's already been too long.
No, it's already
Yeah.
too long. I mean,
This is the quickest way to get something accomplished with emergency funding.
actually, I think that's, unfortunately, the only way
The only way, actually, yeah.
to do it at this moment without
does.
having to wait another year.
It will also give us, in some cases, the opportunity to bring those pipes to the current standards, where there are some streets that have 4-inch pipes, which doesn't meet the current standards, will then be ability to bring up to a 6-inch at minimum, which is now the standard.
And of course, we're going
And,
to make
you know,
sure that
so-
all of these are
right.
going to,
Yeah, they-
be addressed.
Right, they'll allow that to happen, so.
Now, will our own I'm sorry, our own DPW be the ones doing all the installing, or is there a
I
thing?
can't
where-
imagine
No.
that is going to, we're going to have.
I was going to say you would have to have,
Yeah,
Help.
that's too much for them.
yeah.
We don't
Not that
have
they
the
can't do
manpower,
it,
yes,
they
but-
can
They just-
probably.
they don't have
do it,
enough
but it would take
manpower.
them way
I mean, we
longer
have to
than
take them out of
contract.
everything else.
But I'm just wondering, is that all going to be something that will also be part of the grant? I mean, the money here?
This, yes, this
Mhm.
money, the 807 for this street, covers everything. Covers the engineering study, the plans.
The implementation.
And the construction.
Okay.
Yes, and the construction.
it's turnkey. You just show them where the issue is. They go in, do the work, do all of the restoration of the area, and they're out of there.
Now, you said about the time frame would be about
We said
5
about
months.
5 months.
5 months, so we're looking early spring by then.
That's why I think we need to move on this right away.
That's 5 months to start.
5 months to start to, to excavate.
Takes that long to. So, do we need any,
Leaving a resolution regarding
to
this.
move forward on it? I mean,
If you are okay with a state of emergency, I have to declare a state of emergency, and just have to vote it right.
I was going to say, yeah, we just need to be careful how that's worded.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think you want to pass a resolution
No.
tonight. I don't
No.
think you want to do
No.
something on the fly. You want to think about exactly how
right.
to
but-
make that thing
But we have to agree,
exactly-
we have to agree now, though, to move forward, correct? Or
To
Or
go
you
to
could do
what?
that informally.
Informally.
I don't think
Well,
you really
the state
have
of
to pass
emergency
a
is this
resolution.
one.
Well, do we need to take
Totally
a
by
vote to do
accident,
that?
I was looking at it this morning before I even had this conversation. And it just stays right here to fill up this. That's it.
So Dan would get a copy so he could see it, and do we meet next week?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
then that could be a resolution that could be ready for us next week with your input from seeing, so we really, I just want
Do
to
you
make
need a
sure it's.
resolution for that? Because I have to pass it. We don't, I
we
think
don't really need a
for
resolution,
that.
no, it's just whether we,
That's what I was wondering, do we need to vote on it or no?
so it's not really a vote, I mean.
It's not a vote. That's, according to this.
Straight declaration.
Yeah, because if you had to take a vote to declare a
Only-
state of emergency,
Right, you wouldn't, you would.
you
wouldn't
can't,
do
if there's,
that.
right.
So
Let's
it's
have a
not-
So what
meeting.
you're saying is you would
Right.
like to do this.
That's what I was
and
wondering.
think
It
that we're
doesn't,
okay with that.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with doing it. We
I'm
need
okay
to.
with
We've
doing
got
it.
to.
And you-
My thing is
but-
that I have to call the senator's office tomorrow. They want to be kept up to the date as to what we're doing. So I don't want to start thinking about it,
No.
because that's going to take
More
like,
time.
you have an emergency and then you're thinking about it for
Right.
how
It's
long
It's not
you're
an
going to
emergency
think about
anymore.
it.
If you're thinking
It is
about
an
a month or two.
emergency. Yeah.
I think not.
Yeah, go.
If
Yes.
it's a state of emergency, it is, and I think we should go and
I mean,
and
Dan
get it done.
can produce it, can write it here.
And that's no guarantee that we'll get the money.
No,
So
But
the
without
sooner we
that-
get, the sooner we get this going and see if we get the money, the better.
yes. Well, they said that from approval to the money is about 2 days.
Okay.
So that's the correct. You want to pass it down just to see. That was given to me by the county, so.
Yes, I want-
Is-
All right.
They talked about having a seeker done out, is that after you did,
After.
that's after all this, okay.
Right.
The engineer will
Secret.
do the secret.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So that'll all take place once you declare an
Yeah.
emergency.
Class 2
Action,
action, so
correct.
it's really just a couple page seeker. It's not an involved seeker.
Okay,
All right.
good.
Anything else? Right. Phyllis. No.
Oh. I'm still thinking about the water. I hereby make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss medical, financial, credit, or employment history of particular persons or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person.
I second.
Trustee Cradley?
Yes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
All right. Let's go.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening again. Call this special meeting to order. At a special meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, duly called and held on the 20th day of November 2017 at 7:30 p.m. in the Trustees' Room, second floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, and public notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meeting Law. Phyllis, if you want to pass, or you want to say the reports first?
No, let's do that.
Let's pass the resolution.
Oh, okay. Be it resolved that Daniel Gard,
You have to change
93 East 4th Street, Dunkirk, New York, is hereby appointed village attorney at an annual salary of $54,000 with no benefits except New York State ERS,
Employee retirement system.
Employee Retirement System, effective November 20th, 2017.
Second.
Trustee Creddy.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Welcome. Yes.
Congratulations. We're going to swear you in. I, Daniel Gard, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of village attorney
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of village attorney
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Rick.
Sign.
All right.
All right.
We have one
Report.
report tonight. We have the Justice Report for the month of October. There was $16,175 in fines, surcharges, and parking tickets collected, with total number of cases of 183 for the month, of which 85 were vehicle and traffic, 39 criminal, 41 village ordinances, 8 civil cases, and 10 ABC.
Thank you. Correspondence was received from Jim Gugino, class of 1958, requesting permission to use a portion of West Barker Common and the gazebo on July the 20th, 2018, from 12 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. for a meet and greet for their high school class reunion, and to use the village trolley
Should we take that out?
for a
Yeah,
tour
we
of
took
the
that out.
village.
Take it out of the resolution.
All right.
Be it resolved at the request of Jim Cagino to use West Barker Common and the gazebo on July 20th, 2018 for their 1958 class reunion is hereby approved.
I second.
Trustee Cradley.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Correspondence was received from Daniel Reinaga, President and CEO, Lakeshore Savings Bank, informing that the bank has approved a gift of $3,000 to the Village of Fredonia to be used for the Welcome to Fredonia sign on Central Avenue in the Village of Fredonia.
Whereas Lakeshore Savings Bank has approved a gift of $3,000 to the Village of Fredonia as set forth in their letter dated November 6, 2017, to be used for the Welcome to Fredonia sign located on Central Avenue. Now, therefore, be it resolved that said gift is accepted to be used for the purposes stated in said letter, and that the mayor is hereby authorized to send Daniel Reininga of Lakeshore Savings Bank a letter thanking him for their generous gift to the Village of Fredonia.
I second.
Trustee Cradley,
Yes.
sorry. Trustee Cradley.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Passed. We now have a public portion. Does anybody has anything to say? And all three people said no. Trustee Jones.
Be it resolved that Robert Cash is hired effective immediately as part-time Water
two
treatment
people.
plant operator for the Village of Fredonia on an as-need basis by the village administrator at a rate of $25.06 per hour with no other benefits.
Trustee Greeley.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the purchase and installation of a twin two-product pump silkscreen unleaded diesel with new Pulsar 10-1 at the Department of Public Works at a cost not to exceed $10,450 from the pump doctor, Hemlock Road, Eden, New York, is hereby approved.
I second.
Trustee Greeley.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
This is all you have.
I got one more thing.
Oh, dear.
Oh dear.
I don't like the
He
sounds
said
of
it so quietly.
I just wanted to tell everybody, Perry Mitchell passed his written as well as
Oh, yes.
verbal test
Good.
for the D license for the Village of Fredonia Water
excellent.
and
Good for
Sewer
him.
System.
Oh,
So
Great.
he
Yes.
finished that today, so he texted me. I was hoping that he was here tonight.
Me too,
Yeah.
actually, because he texted
Yeah.
me and I said
Okay.
congratulations
Yeah,
and
I
all
know.
that.
No, I just wanted to make
But
sure
congratulations, that was
Good
great.
news all the way
Good.
around, excellent.
That's not an easy accomplishment. I mean, it
Yeah.
takes some time and,
Yeah.
Great.
Very
great,
good.
great. That was good. All right.
okay.
Okay, can I have?
There being no further business to address at this time, I suggest we close.
I second.
Trustee Greeley.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Have a very happy Thanksgiving.